This is huge for the Rams at the linebacker position, as there is a top target for the Rams this free agency. We'll talk about who that player is and what it means for the Rams' future of the linebacker core. We're also discussing why the Rams shouldn't trade for Jalen Ramsey. All on today's episode of the Rams Digest. I'm your host, Joshua Giron. Remember, if you guys are not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor. Press that subscribe button now, as roughly 70.8% of you guys are watching the videos, but you're still not subscribed to the channel. So do me the favor, press that subscribe button so you don't miss any daily Rams content here at the Rams Digest. I'm going to try to knock this video out quick because I'm already late for work as I am recording this video. Free agent target. Now, this is not coming out of the Rams camp. This isn't coming out of Snead saying he's intrigued by this player or anything like that. So I do want to kind of taper expectations. We've brought this player up in conversations about who the Rams should maybe sign this offseason before on the channel. And so I do want to kind of just revisit this as a new story has come out from Sports Illustrated. This actually comes to us from the Jets side of things in terms of Sports Illustrated, as Patrick McVay is actually a reporter for Sports Illustrated on the Jets side of things. So ex-Jet star projected as top option for the Rams. There is still plenty of talent looking for new opportunities. And so this comes to us from the Jets side of things. We are talking about linebacker C.J. Mosley and the possibility of him being a top target for the Rams in free agency. And obviously the free agency is not done, right? Just because the majority of the players have kind of signed. If you guys notice at the bottom, I'll even show you guys right now. At the bottom here, we've been showing you guys every single episode the kind of top free agents available right now. This is a live feed kind of showing you guys the previous team and some of the money they can expect. And so you guys can always see some of the free agents that are still available, maybe any of them that intrigue you for the Rams to look into. But we're talking about C.J. Mosley here we go. We're talking about C.J. Mosley, who only played 110 snaps for the New York Jets last season in an injury-riddled campaign. With that being said, the last time he was fully healthy in 2023, he played out of his mind with a 90.6 coverage grade, 105 tackles, a missed tackle rate of just 8.8%, and made the Pro Bowl. This should help bolster the Los Angeles Rams linebacker crew, which looks to be their weakest defensive position group heading into 2025. Mosley, unfortunately, was only able to appear in 4 games last year for the Jets. He had 17 tackles over that stretch, but he was injured for most of the season. Mosley was a Pro Bowler for the Jets in 2022 and is still looking for the next opportunity in free agency. And so overall, I do want to kind of take a note on this. One, we already did talk about this. We've talked about this before. We've been talking about it all offseason. The Rams' weakest position on the defense side of the ball, maybe all over the team in general, their weakest position is probably the inside linebacker or just the linebacker room in general, right? And I don't mean to throw any shade to Omar Speights, for example, who has really shown to be a pretty solid player at that position for the Rams, but they need more, right? I think we all agree they need more. The Rams' opinion seems to be they don't need that much more, as they've only brought back Troy Reeder and then signed Nate Landman, who I think, again, could be a sleeper pickup for the Rams still. But overall, I think, generally speaking, the Rams do have a fairly weak-ish linebacker core. And so, yes, in the draft, they are likely going to draft a linebacker at some point in this draft, you would hope. And so with that being said, maybe they aren't going to be super aggressive in terms of signing any other veteran players. When we're talking about a team that wants to win a Super Bowl, that wants to compete for a Super Bowl, I think those teams are aggressive about bringing in veteran talent to their roster. You're not asking C.J. Mosley to be a Pro Bowler. We're not asking him to have a 90.6 coverage grade or 105 tackles. That would be incredible if he can revert back to his Pro Bowl days, his prime of his career. Of course, that'd be incredible to see. But ultimately, you're asking C.J. Mosley to go out there, be an average linebacker, be better than what they have in the room, better than Nate Landman, better than Troy Reeder, and just kind of solidify that linebacker core and also teach those guys, right? Teach verbally, be a vocal leader for the Rams in the locker room with all of his experience back from his Baltimore days and now obviously recently the New York Jets days. Be that vocal leader for the Rams on the defensive side of the ball. Be the one who tells the linebackers, teaches them kind of how to be a professional linebacker in the NFL. And of course, you just kind of help lead the group all together. That would be kind of the ideal scenario for the Rams. I think, again, you have to kind of taper your expectations. He's not going to be an all-pro, Pro Bowl linebacker, most likely. That'd be great if he was. But a guy the Rams could bring into the room, sign, be happy with that player. I think the Rams fans would be happier with the linebacker room rather than what they have right now, and just kind of overall kind of beef up that defense in general, because you don't want to have any weak points. Right now, that inside linebacker group is the weak point of the Rams defense for the time being. So we'll see. Maybe after the draft, I think the Rams will kind of look to see what they have in the draft. If they don't find linebackers they think can play now, maybe they'll go after a veteran at that point. That's the hope. That's the goal. Again, rumor right now has it that the Rams could have C.J. Mosley as the top option for them in terms of free agency. Now, yesterday we discussed this, maybe trading for Jalen Ramsey. Well, why would we say now no for Jalen Ramsey? Well, there was obviously different perspectives out there thrown out yesterday. A lot of fans in the comments saying their opinion on maybe we shouldn't bring him back because he's getting burned now. He's older. He's maybe not as good as he used to be. And then some fans saying, yes, bring him back, Super Bowl champ. Let's bring him back to the roster. Well, there is a logical reason as to why the Rams shouldn't trade for Jalen Ramsey. And I did bring it up yesterday as well. If the money doesn't match up, if the money isn't making sense, then the Rams probably shouldn't and probably can't trade for Jalen Ramsey. One note that we had yesterday was that he still has a 1-year fully guaranteed contract, which I think was like $24 or $25 million. And so in that case, if you are trading with Miami, you would have to ask Miami to probably take some of that money on. And that's kind of where, again, more things get a little tricky. I think maybe the Miami would then ask for more draft capital if they're going to take on any money of the contract. And so maybe the Rams should be a little patient. There is some, obviously, issues going on with the relationship between Miami and Jalen Ramsey. Maybe he doesn't want to be a Dolphin anymore. And if that's the case, if nobody trades for Ramsey, maybe you're looking at a guy who becomes released, still gets his money, and he signs for a cheaper deal with the Los Angeles Rams later at some point before the season starts or even at some point during the NFL season next year. That kind of could be an ideal route for the Rams to take as well. Be patient. Don't trade any draft picks. You're not going to be able to afford him under the cap at the current rate he's getting paid, so maybe you should just kind of wait it out and see if he becomes a free agent. So Ramsey has always had a great anticipation on the football field. Not being on an island will allow him to age gracefully into his 30s. That what won't age gracefully is the money remaining on his deal, a deal that runs through 2028. So that is an important key there too. It's not just a 1-year deal. This deal is actually running all the way through 2028. So if you trade for him, you are keeping him until 2028, which is where he'll be 34, 35 years of age, getting paid quite a bit of money. If the Rams wait and he somehow hits the free agent market in the near future, then there might be a move to make. But considering his age, his contract, and what Miami might want for him, the Rams must hold off on making a move for Ramsey. However, if the team somehow makes it work, it could be a pleasure to see a defensive playmaker back on the West Coast. And yeah, that's kind of where I see it. There are some people who have the opinion, by the way, that Jalen Ramsey, I think Asante Samuel came out and said that Jalen Ramsey should probably be a better safety right now at this point in his career. Maybe that's true, but ultimately speaking, I think the Rams, when you're looking at what they have at the cornerback room, I think Jalen Ramsey would still be kind of an improvement on some of those guys in that room, and also just kind of general competition, leadership, all that good stuff, a Super Bowl champ coming in there to lead that defensive back room. I think ultimately that kind of is valuable when it comes down to the roster, what it looks like, and the leadership in the locker room, things of that nature. So that's an important key, I think, for the Rams. That's kind of why I want the Rams to bring him in, but ultimately they have to be smart when it comes down to the money, to the contract. They have to pay attention to that, and if it's not making sense right now, then it might not make sense to do the deal. Wait until he is cheaper, or wait until he's maybe released from his team, or have the conversation with the Dolphins to try to bring that money down on their end. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that, but that is an intriguing route that the Rams may not be able to take at this point in time, considering his contract and whatnot. Moving on from that, my favorite part of the day, the trivia of the day. I give you guys a trivia question. You guys respond with your trivia guesses. Whether you're right, whether you're wrong, I'll give you a shout out on the next episode. Last trivia of the day was this question posed here. Which one of the following current/former NFL owners once played in the NFL? The multiple choice options we had were A, Jerry Jones, B, Paul Allen, C, Al Davis, or D, Jerry Richardson. We had a few people play along in the comment section. They are going to get a shout out right here. If you'd like a shout out just like this on the next episode, go ahead and play along with the trivia of the day later in the episode. We had Greeny saying Al Davis. We had Tim saying Jerry Richardson. We had the real J Will saying Richardson, ? He played for the Packers, I think, ? Appreciate that detailed guess there. Raymond says Jerry Jones. El Stradamus says Jerry Richardson, and Floyd says Jerry Richardson. If you guys want to get shouted out, just like these few people playing along with the trivia of the day got their shout out today, then play along with today's trivia of the day after this. But the correct answer for the trivia of the day last episode was Jerry Richardson. I don't know if he played for the Packers. I can Google that for you guys real quick. Let's see, Jerry Richardson NFL. But overall, I appreciate all of you guys for playing along. Let's see, it was a player, owner, North Carolina, the Panthers. Let's see, NFL playing career, I guess. But overall, I appreciate all of you guys playing along with the trivia of the day. If you guys want to play along again with today's trivia, then we could talk about that. He was a Baltimore Colt, actually, at least at some point in his career. Maybe he played for the Packers, but he was a Baltimore Colt apparently. So, again, appreciate all of you guys for playing along. Whether you got it right, whether you got it wrong, I always appreciate you guys playing with the trivia of the day. If you want to play along with today's trivia of the day, let's play with this question here. What former 49ers receiver, I know, 49ers, whatever. What former 49ers receiver won the long jump at the 2012 U.S. Olympics to qualify for the Olympic Games in London? I thought this was a very intriguing question, which is why I decided to choose it. Sorry that it has to include any 49ers players. I know that doesn't make anybody happy watching the channel. But was it A, Marquise Golden? Was it B, Michael Crabtree? Was it C, Dante Pettis? Or was it D, Anquan Bolden? What former 49ers receiver won the long jump at the 2012 U.S. Olympics to qualify for the Olympic Games in London? Let me know your guesses down below. I do have kind of a hint that if you know these players, you probably can guess which one it was. If you know who the players are and their play style, I guess you should say. I don't know if that's kind of throwing you guys off, but it should be kind of an easy guess. So if you guys can play along with the trivia day today in the comments, I'll give you a shout out on the next episode. Other than that, that's going to do it for me on today's episode of the Rams Digest. I'm your host, Joshua Giron, and I am out.